is up, you guys? This is MiniSuperHeroesToday. This video will contain massive spoilers for the book of Boba Fett, so if you're trying to avoid spoilers, be sure to watch the latest episode and come back to this afterward. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe as well if you love LEGO content, and now, let's dive in. This week's episode of the book of Boba Fett was absolutely insane. I mean, I just don't even know where to begin. We got Luke Skywalker, Grogu, the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, 501st. It was so cool. Well, of course, the objective of this video is to show you how to build all of the characters from this episode, so let's not waste any time and dive right into doing that. But before we do, don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below for more videos just like this and other awesome LEGO content here on the channel. So this week's episode starts off with Cobb Vanth, and of course he no longer has Boba Fett's armor, so he's back to just wearing his red kind of, I don't know what it is, maybe a sweater? So I guess to give him that look, what I did was I used Macy's torso from LEGO Jurassic World, but flipped that around so it kind of had that baggy red look. The legs and hair come from Old Man Han Solo. Then, of course, I put some tan hands on there to match. The face is from the Prince of Persia, and I gave him this dark red scarf from James Potter from the LEGO Harry Potter Collectible Minifigure Series 2. Next up, we have the Mandalorian show up because he's flying to the planet where Luke is, and to build him, I just went ahead and used the regular Mandalorian, torso, helmet, and all that. I gave him the Mandalorian jetpack as well as this gray cape, and the legs are actually from Wild Style from the LEGO Movie 2, or Lucy, I guess as she is by that point, with the Mandalorian hips, because I think that all ties together pretty well. It was pretty amazing seeing the Mandalorian run into R2-D2, and there's not really too much you can do to update R2, so I just left him as is, but there is a trick, even though we don't see it in this episode, that I like to show you guys, and that's to use a cheese slope with a 1x1 stud with a hole in it, and then a lipstick accessory piece, and you can put that right here on R2 and slide him back so that you could have him kind of with his leg out there and have him hover by. So he doesn't really do that in this episode that I noticed, but it's just a cool secret to show you for R2. It's pretty incredible to me to see Luke actually training a Jedi, much less Grogu, who we all know and love. So, I figured I would put them here together because they just look so cool side by side. Of course, the Grogu is just the regular old Grogu minifig, and the Luke Skywalker here uses the modern lightsaber with the modern Luke head and hair combo, but the torso is actually from the older classic Luke, because he does kind of wear like more ceremonial training robes, but of course you could use the more modern Luke Skywalker for the end of the episode where we see him kind of more in his Return of the Jedi outfit without the more ceremonial robes over top. So whatever you have can work, but I did want to show you guys options because his outfit actually does change a little bit if you look closely as the episode progresses. It was really crazy to me to see those 501st troopers in the flashback sequence from Grogu's memory, and yeah, these are just the regular old 501st troopers from the battle pack, but I did want to point out, look how crazy this misprint I got is. You can see what a normal one looks like. Look how his mouth is printed lower, his eyes are lower. I don't know, I just always like to find an excuse to show you guys this misprint because it's pretty wild. Then we get an appearance from Ahsoka, which is really, really awesome. Now, there is the Rebels Ahsoka, which is probably the most accurate version of, older Ahsoka, but she's really rare, so to use something a little more common, I went ahead and used the most recent version of Ahsoka from, the Mandalorian throne room battle, as well as the AAT, so that's where the head and headpiece comes from. Then the torso and legs come from Asajj Ventress from LEGO Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and then, of course, the arms come from the Boss Garmadon from the LEGO Ninjago movie. The orange tones don't match up perfectly, but they match up well enough that it gives you that sleeveless look with the kind of long gloves for Ahsoka, and I'm able to overlook that little bit of color change there to get the accuracy of the outfit. We do get a brief scene of Boba and Fennec in this episode, which I think is funny because it's the book of Boba Fett, and last episode didn't even have him in it, and this episode he was in it for all of 5 seconds. But anyways, of course, Boba Fett is exactly the way he comes from the Boba Fett Starship set, but I did give him this black skirt piece here from the collectible minifigure series. Then Fennec is exactly as she comes in the Imperial Light Cruiser, but I gave her some long black hair to make her, have some hair without her helmet on. Then last but not least, we have Cad Bane. And I gotta be honest, guys, I felt like for a while his price was gonna skyrocket, so I went ahead and ordered him a couple weeks ago, and I feel like I just knew he was gonna be in Book of Boba Fett somehow. Anyways, the torso, neck piece, and headpiece are all from the Clone Wars version of Cad Bane. I gave him some blue hands on there, with the legs from Lucy/Wild Style from the Lego Movie 2, and I gave him a regular fedora instead of the big one he wears, because, you know, the big one is a little cartoony, and in this episode it was really almost more like a top hat, but I don't think the top hat looks quite as good as the fedora, but yeah. Anyways, let's zoom out so I can give you my final thoughts on this showcase. Alright guys, well thanks for hanging out. Be sure to hit like and subscribe down below. Don't forget to leave a comment with who your favorite character from this week's episode is. And be sure to stay tuned because I'll be doing a big video next week for the big finale. So stay tuned for that and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below. And while you're here, maybe check out one of my other videos.